Hello, it is Alicia and
Valerie.
And we're back with our Legacy of Life and Love videos for our loved ones.
Laughter, but okay.
Oh, duh, yeah, hello. Damn, you correcting me in public. Yes, it's Legacy of Love and Laughter.
You can't be right all the time.
But I want to. All right. Be right all the time? Want to know things? Well, we're going to talk about school. And this is, of course, with this many years of school and learning and not learning and repeating learning. We wanted to share a little bit about school and us. We've warned you before, we're going to repeat things because, number one, we have the excuse of being over 65 by a lot, and
speak for yourself.
And we forget stuff. Speak for yourself.
Not me.
Okay, so we didn't know where to jump into it, so we figured we would jump in the middle. And this is, we're going to talk about graduation. You know, this year I had an adopted grandson in Florida graduate, grandchild in Missouri graduate. A couple of years ago it was my granddaughter. And what about you? Who have you had graduate lately?
Lately, my granddaughter's been 2 years, so it's not really
that
lately.
Counts.
From college. She's done, the other ones were, it was many years ago that they all graduated.
Yeah, your kids are, your grandkids are.
Great-grandchildren are the ones that are graduating, and 3 of my grandchildren were homeschooled. So graduation was a little different. One of them actually went to college after homeschool, and she graduated.
Good deal. Okay, well, we don't want to go too much into little school because we've talked about it a little bit, but what we want to talk about today, number one, I want to warn you that as long as you're breathing and probably after, school is never out, that we are always growing and learning. Now our little graduation caps, which have our own little tassels, as you see, shake your tassel.
Some things we never outgrow.
Hell no. They're, because you do graduate, you know, you are graduated from one season of life, from one level of education, from one level of wisdom, do you think?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Do you think you've gotten, compared to your wisdom or your level at when you graduated from high school and now, do you think you've grown a lot?
I'm a totally different person from when I graduated. Especially now, after this past couple of weeks, because I'm learning I can do more than I ever thought I could do. So don't ever give up on learning, because there's always something out there.
And warning to the young people that everything comes easy to, you just wait. Life on the learning curve ain't no happy ride all the time.
But you kind of slip backwards a little every now and then when you get a little bit older. You're always learning something.
I got hair sticking out. No. My cowlicks. Dang those cowlicks. So we just completed a video where we talked about, Valerie was talking about her experience since her loss of Dawn. And, you know, it's kind of an update after, you know, it's been almost a month. But we talked about the importance of memories. And memories are just critical in our lives. Now,
they sure do shape your future a little bit. Let me tell you, you go back and you say, oh, that's where that started.
And you got to take care of your pictures. Photographs help us. They boost our memory and of special things. And videos, I hope you're enjoying our videos, my dear ones, our dear ones. So we have both of our, top one, yearbooks. Mine, it's probably backwards, but you have to deal with that. Mine is a 1963, and Valerie's is 1960 and 1960. My God, she's so smart. She had 2 graduations. Pray tell, how did you get 2 yearbooks and 2 high school graduations?
Well, Let me think who I bribed to do all that. No, that's not true. I went to Goodwin Tech. I went to New Britain High School for 1 year, and then I joined the program where you did a trade, and you do your trade classes for 1 year, 1 week, and then you do your regular high school classes. So you end up getting 2 diplomas. You belong to 2 schools, and I was signed up for hairdressing. My mother was ecstatic. My father wanted me to take drafting. I should have listened to my father. But that's one of those things, you never stop learning.
Then I'd have to pay for my haircuts.
Very true.
You know, technical schools are coming back, and we are so happy. Because if you watch what's going on in the world, you see that we have sent all of our manufacturing overseas. Because why? They do it cheaper.
And they know how to do it.
Well, and we've forgotten how to do it. That's the thing, is we've forgotten it. We got very much into head stuff and very little into hand stuff. Hand stuff is coming back. I drove past in Bridgeport one day a big, beautiful technical school. And I pray that more will come back as we start bringing jobs and technology. You know what? It is every bit as important for someone to be able to do something with their hands.
It's rewarding.
As well
it's one of
as
the most rewarding things to do stuff with your hands, whether it's making food or sewing or doing somebody's hair or gardening.
carpentry,
It doesn't matter.
auto. Mhm.
It's so rewarding, and that never gets old. You know, there's always something you can do creative.
The secret is to do what you want.
That
And
helps.
like you had to do the beauty culture because that's what our mother wanted.
I didn't have, and I was given choices. There were plenty of choices when you were going to technical school. Dad wanted me to take drafting. I really wish I had taken drafting because I'm a little artistic, and not autistic. I'm artistic.
Good
And
one.
if I went into
She's getting funnier every video.
if I went into drafting, I could have done architecture or whatever. But I was so afraid of the math that I wouldn't do it because I'm not good at math. Never was. But there are so many things that you have choices of. And I mean, I could have taken dressmaking. I think I would have been adequate at that too. But
She's great.
you know, Mom said, do hairdressing. You can get a job. It'll be good money, and I don't know.
You'll
about
always
the good
have
money,
some
but
money in your
that's
pocket.
right. And so if something ever happens to your husband, you can support. And that never occurred to me just this minute. That they used to say that all the time. If something ever happened to your husband, you could support the family and would do whatever.
And you're not doing it hairdressing, just saying.
No, some hairdressers maybe, but you have to really love it and have a gift.
We both went to the same school per the yearbooks, and I took my choices, and I wanted to take hairdressing, not because I wanted to be a hairdresser any more than she did, but she was taking it. And she was my big sister, and anything she did, I wanted to do.
You
But
could have had it.
no,
No,
I am so happy I went to culinary. And I might not be a big fancy chef in a big fancy restaurant, but I can cook. I tell you, I can cook. The basics.
Good lunches
Oh,
here.
yes. Good lunches here for her. I'm not cooking for the world.
That's okay by me.
Yeah. So anyway, we're all very pro technical school, and we hope they come back, and we're very, very happy that we did what we did. Not a lot of people work in the same business, the same profession that they're trained for. Don, in fact, he did stay in the tool and die business, more or less.
He swapped around a little bit before he went back into it. Because he was a baker, and he just did all kinds of little odd jobs. And then he ended up going back to that tool and die was what was in him. He was trained what he was trained for.
Yeah. So we thought it would be fun to tell you a little bit about our yearbooks, because that's a wonderful way to reconnect with your memories. Now you say, I'm saying memories just kind of general, because not all of them are good, right?
No, but you got a good lesson going to high school.
So in our damn, what does yours look like? I just opened my yearbook. I was so proud of myself because I still have the dust cover. You know, I'm not the one that takes the good care. Still she is. And I have my dust cover and she doesn't. But my book cracked.
Don't you want to see the inside cover?
No, but show them. that is our school. That was in New Britain, Connecticut. My mother used to get us after us all the time because we say New Britain and she say New Britain. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So no, I opened my book, look, and it fell apart.
It's seen a lot of love.
It's seen a lot of love.
Mine's been packed away
I
in
don't
a
have
box.
that picture. But anyway, so this is our class advisor and my culinary teacher, Frank Granda. And you know, it's funny, of course he impressed my life because I wanted to do cooking, and I did. Cooking is another profession that for girls was frowned upon in those days. Girls didn't do that. Of course, you have to have good ears for cussing because you hear it in the kitchen, I'll tell you that. It ain't only Ramsay.
If you think the beauty culture girls were any better, dream on.
We had to wear uniforms. I mean uniforms, not polo shirts and colored khaki pants or anything. Our food service, culinary, had to wear white. You had to wear white.
White and white socks, white shoes, and white uniform. If you wanted to wear a little hanky in your pocket, you could, but everything else had to be white. And the only difference was you wore regular stockings. You didn't wear white stockings like a nurse. Otherwise, everything was white. And we were so proud to be able to wear that white outfit. I think I had 3 uniforms that got me through school. You know, it was like 1 week it's regular clothes, the next week it's like you had your uniforms that you wore. I loved it. I loved it. And then all of a sudden, hairdressers started dressing like, I didn't know what you'd call
People.
They dress. Some people.
Just people.
Sometimes they're wearing high heels to work and stuff. Instead of sensible shoes is what you were supposed to wear. Sensible white shoes like a nurse would wear because you're on your feet all day long. I guess it's not that important anymore.
Well, the funny bit with Mr. Granda, who was my culinary teacher, it's funny because I've been graduated. I think this would have been my 60th year anniversary of graduation. But still, I say and think things he taught me, and they don't necessarily meant anything. They were things like he would say, "I'm sincere when I tell you." Now I know that as well as my own. I'm sincere when I tell you, you can believe it or not, something like that. But he always said that, and now that I'm trying to remember it, it has taken a vacation. I'm looking at a picture of one of my classmates, Ed Rossi. Ed Rossi, I think I heard he's not with us anymore, but I'm not sure. But he was so funny because he was in culinary with me, and but in the classes, in the regular high school classes, he kind of was a moneymaker. And he would sell candy bars on lunch breaks, and he would sell class papers.
Well, there you go.
And then,
That was enterprising.
after we were graduated, he went to school for education, and he started teaching history at the same school. So, gosh, you love them. And sometimes you don't love them so much, and sometimes they're fun. Culinary's tough. Guys are tough. What are you looking at?
I was just looking because there's some pictures of the hairdressing class.
Show
They're
'em.
all
Bring it
sitting
up
there.
and hold it up to the
Let
screen.
me see here.
Reach as close as you
You're
can
all
get.
standing up in a line with your chair and your customer. What they would do for hairdressing, you could call the school and ask for a hairdressing department and make an appointment to get your hair done, and it will be at an extremely reasonable price.
Extremely.
Of course, you're taking your hair in your hands that way because you never know what you're going to walk out with. But most of the girls were really in the trade for a year, in school for a year before they were allowed to have any customers. But you could get a pedicure, a manicure. No pedicures. In that time, hairdressers were not allowed to do pedicures. You could do a manicure, you could do a facial. No pedicures, and you could not work on black people, and no pedicures. So I think those were the rules then. They changed them. But
There were very different reasons. I'm just going to hang up on this. That was a spammer. Okay, so I don't know if you had Mr. Merrill for the director.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, this is Mr. Merrill, and he said the most profound thing at graduation. He said, There are many things I could tell you today, but you think you already know them. You're getting a little too much light on your face. There you go. Now you're normal again. So what else you got in there that is fun?
Well, it's fun to kind of just look at the school picture. I gotta find it first. Just a second. And oh, there I am. In case any of you wondered what I looked like just a couple of years ago. This picture right here under my finger is me. I was on a page with only guys. I had to pay off big time to get that. I'm only joking. I did not.
So I gotta find me. So I went through my book a number of years ago. It was probably 7 or 8 years ago, and it was, oh my God, 20 years ago. I was looking when AOL first came out. I was looking up people that I knew to see if I could find them online. And Switchboard was my main friend, and so off and off again, died. And that was a long time ago. Hang on, I'm getting to myself. There I am. And as you notice, my name was not Alicia, it was Leslie. Long story short, I'll tell you one day. You don't need to know it now.
I've got a picture in my other yearbook, which was from the high school, because I graduated from both schools. This was the New Britain High School yearbook called the Beehive. And they still use the football stadium there in New Britain for regular baseball games and stuff. Yeah,
wow.
Not just high school. And this picture here on the bottom of the page, I don't know if I can't see whether I'm holding that right or not, is a picture of me and 4 or 5 other guys.
There we go.
And they were like special students. We were the exchange group, the group that went to trade school for 1 week and then took high school classes for 1 week. We were the graduating class, that few of us at that time. But it picked up for a while, and it got so more and more kids were doing trade schools, and then it kind of slacked off to next to nothing. The trade schools were closing, and such a shame. All these
I know it's hard
people.
because I think one of the reasons it went away is that people thought that kids that went to trade school couldn't handle regular school.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, I couldn't handle it because it didn't stimulate me. It is what it is.
I wasn't a good student either. I wasn't good at math. I wasn't good at much of anything. But I was very laid back, and
I just want to show you this because it's some of the way guys wore their hair back then. So look at those. Those are called DA, which stands for Dutch Arts, and they thought they were pretty darn cool.
I had Don's yearbook, but I left it at home the other day and forgot to bring it back. So we don't have a high school picture of him. But I got plenty of them. Anybody who wants to see it, just come into the office. I'm more than happy to show them to you. Or come and visit me. I'll be happy to show them to you.
Yeah. So then they have areas of people that you've got. You put a sticker in for your for the seeing your favorites.
I did.
And yeah, because Valerie was Valerie and I am me. She didn't have as many notations, but I think most of you know me. I'm a little bit more forward and assertive, and so there's probably more pictures of me only because I got into everything. There I am, and you see that I have blonde hair in the front and dark hair in the back, and that's because my sister was in hairdressing.
But then they have, these are the pictures of the favorites, like the most quietest, and the most school spirit, and the best looking, and class blushers, all this stuff. So I was voted with another guy in my class, quietest person that year.
Yeah, hold it up real close so they can see it.
Let's get it here. Can you see it in there? I can't see it.
Up. Yep, there she is, right there. Trying to get the light off of it. There we go. And amongst other things, I was, believe it, no, this is not true. I don't know why they did it. They put in most popular. But I just, probably because I
Because
like,
you told him you were.
yeah, no, because I like, the thing is, I thought I was probably the worst. And I knew everybody. Because I love everybody, because I've always been like that. So I think that's why they put something like that. And then, best personality, but not everybody agree with that. Some people say I'm loud and obnoxious. Can you imagine that?
No.
The nerve. Okay, so then I just want to show you one of the boys, who made my heart flip over, and he could care less if I even took a breath. If I fell off the planet, he wouldn't even say, he'd say, who? His name was Camille Cody. And he was, isn't he a cutie pie? Oh my stars, he was a cutie pie. I'll show you my other one just because I can't not do it. This one I really, really liked. Let's see, where was he? God, I hate these ones that say died. Paul, where are you? Okay, Paul.
Well, the guy that I met in high school is the guy that I married. He came up behind me one day in the hallway going up the stairs, and he slipped his arm around my waist, and I turned around ready to say something really not nice to him. And it was like my heart just flipped over, and there he was. Don was, from that day forward, he was always the one on the top of the list.
Everything, it made you want to puke. No,
She thought it was very funny because I was in hairdressing, and she did a very funny thing with my notebook, because I wrote all over my notebook, Don and Val and Don and Val. So they used to sell Breck shampoo, and they would sell it in 3 different kinds of ways. You could have dry for dry hair, and N for normal hair, and O for oily hair. So if you cut those letters out and you rearrange them, you can spell D-O-M very easily. And she cut them out and she stuck them on my books. I loved every minute of it. It was great.
oh well.
You don't remember that?
Huh?
Did you say
I thought you did it.
No.
Okay, so Paul Gianfrido, who I cannot find here, must have been an underclassman or an overclassman. I didn't care. They're good looking. He also didn't know I took breath and didn't care. But I sure liked him. So, I was a cheerleader.
You'll be getting a lot of phone calls.
Yeah, I know. I was a cheerleader, and you can see me there. I'm the little one. And I don't know why I was allowed to join the squad. Probably because my mother knew how to sew the costumes. But I liked it, and I would always want to cheer Paul. So we did these cheers, and we'd name him, and we'd go, so-and-so, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. And so one time I'm ready and I'm excited because I'm doing Paul, and I get up there and I go, Paul Gianfrido, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. And then you're supposed to say your name. And I did that. And my name blanked out. My name gone. Honestly. That's what love will do to you. Then there was this boy. His name was Carol Cody. And he was a little guy, and he had big feet and big ears. And he took me to one of my proms. He was an underclassman. And, I guess because I'm little, I go for the little ones. And so then we had a reunion one time. And Carol Cody was coming. He was in food service as well. I wonder if he's in here. He's an underclassman. He wouldn't be here. And, oh, my stars, I thought I was going to fall flat out. He was like 6'4". He grew into his ears and his feet. He was so stunning, I lost my breath. And until I think I threw it away. I don't know if I have it or not, but I had the bouquet, the corsage from that night.
Oh, you saved everything.
60-year-old corsage. Well, no, the point of doing these videos is I show people stuff and
So they
then
can
get
throw
rid
them
of
away.
it. And then I can get rid of it because
That's why we're doing it.
okay, give me some other story, school story for you.
I don't have them anymore. Being in hairdressing was kind of boring compared. Of course, we were all girly girls for sure. And when you went to school then, you weren't allowed to wear slacks or anything. We had to wear our uniform on shop week, But then
Rain
on
and
regular
snow.
you had to have a skirt, not pants. You had to have a skirt, or
3 inches below the knee.
yes, it did, and dress accordingly. You know, it did make a difference. But you started a lot of trends, like one green lock of hair in your coif that day for St. Patrick's Day, and you wore mistletoe in your hair at Christmas time. You
Oh
always had
yeah,
all
I
these
always
things.
did, but nobody ever took me up on it.
Yeah. And then you got to do state boards, which at the end of 2.5 years of hairdressing was frightening as hell. I'm not a good learner, but Donald would sit with me at night and quiz me on things in my hairdressing book. I did great. I had the highest mark in the group that was being tested that day.
And he
which I
passed it too.
Yeah, and he passed it too. I couldn't believe that. So what they do is they would get you a job. If you got good class points, you know, good score, they would arrange for you to get a job in a shop. So everybody in the group got a job in a shop. And the shop I got was the biggest shop in New Britain at the time, and it was called Val's. Doesn't that figure? I'd be working at a shop with Val. Val was a man. That got to be very touchy, because what the girls at the office, at the desk would do is if somebody called up and wanted to book an appointment with Val, if Val was busy, they'd put their name on my list. Now, everybody coming in that wanted to have Val and not me was not happy to come in and find out they had a brand new girl in the shop
Novice.
doing their hair when they wanted Val. And of course that made me 3 times more nervous, because they started out on the wrong foot. They came in and they said, I had an appointment with Val. Who are you? You know, I didn't last at that job, I think only maybe 6 months. I was so nervous and upset. By the time the end of the day would come, I said, that's it. I wasn't cut out for this. So I called and I quit.
She called and she quit.
I called and I quit. Actually, I had Donald
If
call.
they had text, she would have texted and quit.
I would have just not showed up. No, that's not true. It had a little bit more scruples than that. But it was a very tough thing, you know, like, because of the fact that I was, and this is so hard to believe, I was extremely shy. Even the school people thought I was shy. It said so in the yearbook. You can find it anywhere. And it's just
Shy and quiet.
very difficult. The quiet part has disappeared.
That's why I have more stories than you, because I wasn't shy and quiet. I was
That's
like,
right.
go get them. I did have dates, by the way. I just want, I actually got married one day and everything. Too much of a hurry, but. So I have my cheerleading letter, which is what you earn when you do something. Hanging on it these are my roller skating awards. You know, they're not awards. They're like pins that you earn. You do this and you get a pin. It's not like I was some magnificent whatever. But over here, this little tiny one there, that is the Betty Crocker Homemaker of the Year Award.
I think that's
And
great.
I used to remind people that is homemaker, not housekeeper. It's important that people know that. So life goes on and lessons go on, and they never ever end until you reach perfection, which I think I got a few lifetimes to do yet.
I don't know. It depends on what you think perfection is. You know, sometimes people put too much emphasis on that. Be happy. Be good to people. Be happy. Try and enjoy your life and all the people around you. I got some of the best people around me here at this campground, at home, in my family. I'm real lucky. Really lucky. And I got a sister who cares. How many people can say that?
I love her.
See? I
The
told
light
you.
of my life.
I didn't even pay her to say that.
Tell us about your favorite teacher.
My favorite teacher.
I don't know. Did you have a favorite teacher?
There were several of them that I liked, but teachers were always a problem for me. I
Most
was
of them are
the
dead
student.
now. You can speak freely.
Yeah, I liked Mr. Emerson was good. He was but I hated his class. I hated economics, and that's what he taught. I hated that. Mr. Carmody was a math teacher. He used to drink while he was in school. In trade school, you could get away with that, you know.
He had a little drawer, and
And
he'd
that's where he
pull
kept
out
his
his
thing.
little flask, and
That's the coming from his class. The hairdressing girls, the printers, and the bakers were all clumped together to have their math, English, social studies classes. So we were in math class, in his math class. So as it turned out, when you went out the door, across the hall was the door to the machining trade.
Oh, well.
Machinist.
And there's Don.
And yeah, I didn't see him. I didn't meet him. I didn't know him. And but all the guys you'd see them sticking their heads up on the door where there was the window. When the class would let out and all the hairdressing girls came out, this was like a real kick. So we go up the stairs. I'm halfway up the stairs, and somebody came up behind me and stuck their arm around my waist from the back. I turned around was ready the most hateful things I could say to him. I turned around and I saw him. That went down the drain really quick. I was smitten right away. So if you ever wonder how we wanted to meet, it was in school. A couple of years later, we were married.
Yeah.
62 years later, we're still married.
That's right. What I remember from Mr. Carmody's class, again, is he was apparently developing Parkinson's, because he'd go like this. He'd
Yeah,
go
all
like
the
that and
time.
he'd get his little nip. But I'm sorry, but I found his classes I found most of our classes kind of boring.
They were
I really
boring.
did. They were boring. But a couple of friends of mine and I in class, this is why the boys liked me. They liked me because I was one of the guys. But we would pretend we'd go like this. And then we'd pretend we had a booger, and then we'd go.
That's gross.
And then we'd fling it at somebody, or we'd pretend we were pulling out this big booger and break it into pieces and juggle with them.
Yeah, guys, you didn't ever do that to me.
Now, what was your worst teacher? You got to lean over because I'm leaning.
I got to think about that.
My worst teacher was she's my best
I
worst
remember
teacher.
now.
Her name was Mrs. Downey.
Something
And
is-
I think it's a Dawn, is that you? It could be what do you call it?
Woodpecker.
Woodpecker. So anyway, in this class, Mrs. Downey's son was shot down over Korea. He was a U-2 pilot. And he was shot down and captured. And I remember that time, and it was pretty tough. And aside from that, in general, because I had her before that, she was mean. She was mean. She was harsh. She was really harsh. And one day, but I will tell you this, I remember a lot of the stuff she taught. One day, she gave us an assignment to write a story. So I wrote the story. I was so excited. Just like in that movie, A Christmas Story, you know, where the kid hands in his theme and he's just imagining these waves. I illustrated it even. It was a story about a kid that went off in a rocket ship to the moon, and he lands on the moon and there's all these mushrooms, but the mushrooms are people and they're aliens. Well, they're not aliens on their own planet, but and I was so excited, and she handed back the paper and it had all these red marks on it. Now, I don't mind the red marks, you know, that you can learn where you need to correct, but she never said a word. If you are a teacher, ever thought about being a teacher, ever wanted to be a teacher, please, if you need to correct a student, I got it then that I couldn't write, and I didn't write for many years, and now I have 3 novels, a nonfiction, some storybooks, and more
actually
on the
published.
way. And they're published. So, please be gentle on your students. Who is yours?
I had a teacher when I was in, I believe it's the 7th grade, I remember way back, and it was a nun, and it was at St. Maurice School in New Britain, and she let me know in no uncertain terms that I was pretty stupid. And she would get annoyed because I was very quiet. I didn't speak up. We have trouble with this sometimes because I have a hard time speaking up. And she would come over and she'd take that ruler and she'd smack it on my desk, and she'd let me know that I shouldn't be in that school. I shouldn't. They actually took me out of school there and put me back into the middle school, or junior high, I guess is what they called it at the time, which is where we had moved. We had moved from one part of New Britain to another part. They were going to change me and put me in St. Maurice. I tried it out. thought the uniforms were a great idea and everything. But I didn't last more than 2 months, I think. And I mean, she'd keep me after school, and I have to sit in front of all the CCD kids while she tapped on my desk and let me know how stupid I was. And I just couldn't handle it anymore. So they finally pulled me out, and they put me back in the school I was in. I got to live with my grandparents at the end of the road there till I graduated from junior high school. So not all experiences are good. Unfortunately, or fortunately maybe, that teacher got sent on what they called early retreat. I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't think it's a good thing. But that was my toughest teacher. Not good at all.
That sucks. And we both love Cool Carl.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
He punched a hole in a wall because they're not allowed to hit kids. We had some kind of fresh kids at school. We did.
Well, trade school, you know, where all the flunkies would go.
No, don't
That's
you
what
believe
and
that for a minute.
Some of the best people went to that
That's
school.
true, that's true. Well, we're going to let you go because we don't want to chew your ear, but we will be back. And every time you see these little graduation hats, you'll know we're going to do some talk about school days. Till then, take care.
Bye-bye.